I feel there is a lot of work needs to be done in this motorcycle still now. Hello guys, good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Person Manager and you are watching Automania. And as promised, we are back with the ride review of the Yezdi Adventure. Yes guys, this was the most anticipated video and I was waiting to take this motorcycle out for a ride. And finally I could put my hands on this, and I thank Ankur ENgineers for letting me this motorcycle for a ride review. So let's not waste any time and hop onto this motorcycle and see what this has to offer for us. First impressions, a bit lighter, I guess, lighter than its rival Himalayan. Starting is a bit softer and felt a bit smoother. So let's see how this motorcycle feels on the road. Guys, first things first, initial torque, a bit something I think which is missing, like below 4000 rpm. If I go below 4000 rpm, around 2000 when I'm trying to push, it is struggling a bit, but after 4500 rpm it gets the push. Well, this motorcycle is around 30 PS of peak power at 8000 rpm and around 29.5 30 PS Newton meters of peak torque, around 6500 rpm, something of that area. And by the way, this windshield is missing, so the wind buffeting will be a lot lower if that is fixed. And when I'm trying to push this motorcycle, I am feeling the need to shift the gear downs. Yes, so that is something which should have been, addressed from the company before the launch itself. The gearbox is smooth enough, so not a bad or anything out of the world gearbox. Is a very decent one. Brakes do feel nice. Yes, brakes do feel nice. See, this motorcycle is a chief rival to the Royal Enfield Himalayan. So most of the time the companies tend to benchmark the rival company, the motorcycle. It is done in all the companies. Like you'll be finding Hero MotoCorp bikes at Bajaj facility, and vice versa, and it goes out for all the companies, TVS and all, because they would like to benchmark the best motorcycle in that segment, so that they are at least with par with that in the competition. So I'm sure they have learned a lot from Himalayan and they have tried to improvise. Well, this is the first motorcycle of this sort for Yezdi, and it's a brand new brand in India and coming back from the ashes. So I'm sure they would have needed some more time to bring that refinement to this motorcycle. As of now, in the lower end, the power is a bit laggy, but in the mid-range is spanking strong. Mid-range is spanking strong, guys. I appreciate it, because most of the people will be riding in the mid-range, but lower end should also have been worked with. See, riding without helmet, cops caught him. Let's push and see how this feels. Okay, so I gave a max braking. At around 120, 122. That was the top speed, which I feel and might be plus 5 kph more on highways. And the braking was good, but a bit of shakiness. Like I felt a bit panicky situation at that moment. Maybe I don't know what can be the issue, but I was a bit panicked. The fight could have been a bit more, but a good job done by this ABS department with the 3 modes: rain mode and rain riding, normal mode, and this off-road mode. This is a very good addition. But one thing that is I'm not understanding, that this is a cluster which I feel a lot of work could have done in this cluster, guys, because see, this is it is getting all the information. You also get USB charger over here, which is not fixed in this motorcycle. It's because it's a test bike, so you get that eventually. You'll get it, and all everything is there. You're not missing out anything. But I feel this empty spaces could have been worked with, and this speedometer could have been a much better, implemented speedometer. And you're getting all the information already, but I feel either you're missing out on the space which the company is offering in this world speedometer. So I think in the next update they will be bringing something different, full TFT or something like that, a full color screen or whatever they're planning on that updates. But yes, it do give you all the information. It's very much visible, no issues at all. It is visible quite nicely, no problems, and it's a very well put together speedometer. And coming to the build quality, this feels nice, strong. You can also fit your all the excess jerry cans for taking fuel for longer rides or places where you won't get fuel. So jerry cans will be there. The handlebar feels good, feels straight. The seat feels nice for longer rides. That's a very good thing. So this engine is actually taken from Perak. Okay, it is taken from Jawa Perak. So it has that a lot of character of Jawa Perak in it. Like if I tell you, in the mid range it is good enough, but top end and low end does struggle a bit. But I think some work could have been done on vibe difference. Vibe, it is very less vibey in the mid range. But the moment you go past the high end of the RPM rev band, 8,000, 9,000 RPM, 8,000 RPM, the moment you go in the high end, you feel it's a bit cluttery. And 1 second, we have some heroes over here. Okay, the moment it goes past those RPMs, so you feel a bit of discomfort. This is an off-road patch. Let's see how this works over here. Let me see how it is working. Take me to some saddling. It did a decent job in the off-road patch, guys, no questions at all about it. But you have to take to a hardcore off-roading trial, then only we can get the best out of this motorcycle and we can understand how this feels. But as of my feeling, I think so these motorcycles are not for a very good handler, because we don't expect this to be a spanking good handler, but it does the job really well. And in the off-roading mode, in off-roading situations, I felt the grip was decent enough, and I was saddling, so that was not a big issue. But it's not a 100% off-roader, guys, because 80% of the time you would use this motorcycle, 90% of the time you would ride this on normal roads for sure. Only 10% you can take it to any off-road situation. So in that sense, I feel things could have been a bit better. And yes, there's always scope for improvement, because this is let me just try to corner. I think I lost the front end a bit. I feel there is a lot of work needs to be done in this motorcycle still now, and how it fights the likes of the Himalayan. Well, that's the benchmark motorcycle. Even this is very close. You see the numbers: 30 PS of max power, 30 Nm of peak torque. I think it's just 1 Nm lower than the Himalayan, but this is lighter by almost 8 to 10 kgs. It's lighter, so that I think that compensates the power. But lower down the torque range, rev range, it needs a bit of oomph and the power. And so coming to suspension and all, it is not as stiff as the Scrambler. As I already said, if you have not seen the Scrambler review, please go to the description box and you can see that review. It's not as stiff as the Scrambler, but it is stiff. It is stiff, guys. It is not the lightest, and it is not the stiffest or the softest, but this should have been a bit more softer. It's a bad patch over here. I'll just go through it and see how this feels, because suspension setting is very important for this kind of motorcycles. So when I tackle small potholes, I feel like for the likes of Himalayan, it will just glide through all the small potholes. It won't even make you understand. But in this one, you feel that potholes. So I think some work would have been done in the front end, in the suspension department, so that you are understanding, like when you are on a bad trail और जब रास्ता बहुत ही खराब है, एटलीस्ट छोटा मोटा potholes आपको डिस्टर्ब ना करे. I've been trying to ride this a bit rough. It's struggling with the torque. I need to put the gear down. This motorcycle is a bit more refined than that of Perak, Roadster and the Scrambler. It is much more refined than that motorcycle, so no issues about it. But on the higher end, I think it gets a bit vibey and it starts to clutter. There's the vibration creeps into the foot pegs, into the seat, into the handlebars. That is something which I think daily riders won't like. Guys, it's not always about the motorcycle, it's about how you are riding. So don't blame the motorcycle every time. It's also about your riding style. If you're not getting the best out of your motorcycle, trust me on one thing, change your riding style. I'm sure your motorcycle will respond totally in a different way, and you will be a much better motorcycle rider and will feel much more comfortable in your motorcycle. So just now the radiator fan did kick in, and I'm getting a bit of heat coming into my leg, but it's not unbearable that it will be a big problem. So it's not unbearable at all, so it's kinda okay, manageable. So heating department is not a big issue in this motorcycle. Yezdi has done a decent job with radiating the heat with this bike, guys. So heating department is it's a good go with this motorcycle. You don't feel it that much. So guys, I think I have covered all the basic points you need for this motorcycle. Next point will be the pricing, with a starting price of around 2.5 lakhs on the road. It is quite a decent offering. You get everything you need in a motorcycle, and we have to wait here for the stoplight. So this pricing is a strong price point with the competitor just around the corner. So pricing is a good one. It's not too rocketing sky high nor too low. It's a standard pricing done by Yezdi. Overall the fit and finish is fine. This motorcycle looks great, it looks good, and only after long reviews you can understand what this motorcycle will be like to live actually. Like it's LED all around, headlight indicators, tail lamps all are LED. So let's give it some revs. 110 in no time, so quite a good strong speed you'll be getting this motorcycle to go for longer rides, guys. So at 100, 6th gear, 9800, it's smooth enough. You can go long with this motorcycle at this speed. You won't be having any kind of issues, no vibrations, nothing. It's a very good feeling, a strong front end at these high speeds actually. But things are a bit different when you take this motorcycle onto the daily riding. I feel that the front end could have been a bit better with the long travel suspension. You need a bit more confidence into that front end, guys. The suspension really hits you with all the small potholes onto the road. So that I think that's the character of this motorcycle, and it depends upon what kind of character a rider will be liking in a motorcycle like this. Past 8000 RPM, it is vibey at that point. You feel the seats, the handlebar, the foot pegs cluttering, and that could have been a bit better. Overall, there are many good points with the motorcycle. It is almost 5 PS up than the competitors, and and the heating management is good. Yes, I'm getting the heat onto my foot a little bit, but it is manageable. It is not out of the world. It is of course liquid cooled. The low end torque could have been better. The mid range is good, and I think they have benchmarked the Himalayan with this motorcycle. And yes, they came very close to this motorcycle, but still a lot of work needs to be done by classic legends for this Yezdi Adventure. And yes, you can take the motorcycle for longer rides, no issues at all. You can cruise in this motorcycle for hours at 100 kph, 98 to 100 kph, 105 kph on highways. I think if you're cruising, nobody would definitely go out of that speed if you're onto longer rides. 100 is a very standard speed, and it can do this all day long. And coming to reliability, only time will say how much reliable is these motorcycles. With the news of when Himalayan breaking the chassis apart and all, it is very interesting to see how will this motorcycle be in the longer run and for the longer trips with the chassis, suspensions, braking and all. Guys, that's it for the ride review of the Yezdi Adventure. Let me know if you like it. If you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to Automania for exclusive automotive updates like these. And if you are in Durgapur region, you can contact Ankur ENgineers, the distributors of Yezdi and Java motorcycles. So that's it for this review. As I always say, wear your helmets when you're riding, wear your seatbelts while driving, and never drink and drive. This is Poonam Paswan. You are watching Automania, signing off. Ta-da!